Good morning, I'm Deborah Arbeck. Right now, RCMP are concentrating their search for Cam McLeod and Bryer Schmegelsky in York Landing, Manitoba, urgently switching their focus in the manhunt for the two teen murder suspects. This is video into us this morning from our CBC News team in York Landing. You can see tactical officers on the ground. RCMP rushed there after two men matching the fugitives' descriptions were spotted yesterday near a garbage dump. That sighting hasn't been confirmed yet by police, but we have a new brief statement from Manitoba RCMP. In a message posted a few minutes ago on Twitter, the RCMP says, quote, "Situation is ongoing. All possible RCMP resources continue to be used in the area of York Landing to safely apprehend two individuals matching the description of the suspects." York Landing's about 90 kilometers from Gillam, where the manhunt had been centered through the weekend. In the summer, it can only be reached by air or water. Vehicles must come into York Landing by ferry boat. Now, right now, the community is in lockdown. CBC's Angela Johnston has the latest.
From the moment we landed on the ground, we began to get a sense of the police presence that is now here. There was a drone in the sky, and the chief has told us that a canine unit and a helicopter have also been working in the area. We spotted some officers on the ground, but what really strikes you is how quiet the roads are. There are community patrols, but no one is outside. People have been ordered to stay indoors.
We're such a small, remote community. We don't ever anticipate these kind of events occurring in our backyard.
Yeah, I was just going to ask how people are feeling here.
Yeah, very concerned, very on edge and scared, obviously.
I also caught up with one of the patrollers who called in the possible sighting of the suspects. He says he believes he saw the pair near the community dump.
At first, it's like looking at them, it didn't click in at first. It was kind of like, it took a few moments till like we got on the road, and then we made the decision to like, we both seen the same thing. And so we better go take a look, and then about 5 minutes after that, it's like, could be possibly the suspects from BC.
Locals don't go there unless they're in cars because there's bears there. So to see people on foot, especially those that match the description of the suspects, was very unusual to him. Now, it's worth pointing out the chief says the land around here is treacherous. And if this sighting was confirmed, he says it would be a miracle that the two survived the journey. Angela Johnston, CBC News, York Landing.
Megan Roberts is also tracking the story for us. Megan, what more do we know about the investigation?
Well, we just saw that tweet from RCMP confirming that they are throwing all of their resources into York Landing right now, trying to search that area, trying to go through that thick bush to see if these two people that were spotted are in fact the suspects. You can see the forces on the ground there. You can see the cars on the road. There are drones. There are helicopters. The police brought their dogs to try to sniff out any clues, any suspects. So the RCMP have been patrolling all night into the morning. There were 16 that arrived last night, another 20 officers arriving this morning in this small community of only 500 people. So you can imagine what it's like there for people seeing all of these heavily armed RCMP officers going through their town, checking houses, checking buildings, doing everything they can to confirm this sighting, if those were these two suspects, because it's not confirmed yet. Another important point to make is there were some rumors flying around last night that there may have been an apprehension of a suspect. They are not true. The RCMP very clearly stated that they have not yet brought anyone into custody. So that's an important point to clear up in this. Right now, what they're asking from the community, stay in your homes, lock your doors, bring your pets in, because those could be confusing for the RCMP police dogs. Really, they're asking people to just stay out of the way for now for their own safety. Take a listen to the chief of York Landing describing what it's like on the ground there right now.
They have air support with helicopters, and they do have a drone that they're also using for search. So it's very shocking and concerning to know that these gentlemen are possibly here. You know, we're a remote community of of only 500 people, and it has everybody on edge. You never anticipate or anything like this happening or them coming this way. And, to know that they're possibly, in our community somewhere is very concerning.
And there certainly is concern on the ground right now. Many community members on edge and no sign of slowing down. The police just said that they would be throwing all of their resources into this potential sighting. So expect to see more police throughout the day in York Landing, Deborah.
All right, thank you very much, Megan. Now, as we heard earlier, that possible sighting of the fugitives in York Landing was made by the Bear Clan Patrol, a Winnipeg-based volunteer safety group. Now, members of the Bear Clan Patrol are acting as ambassadors, essentially, in remote Indigenous communities during the manhunt. James Favel is the executive director of the Bear Clan Patrol. We reached him this morning in Winnipeg. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Listen, your group traveled north at the request of the acting Grand Chief of the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs to help in this search. Can you explain for us what exactly you're hoping to do?
Well, so our presence was requested by Grand Chief Arlen Dumas on Friday, and we were asked to go up and support these communities because they are not serviced by RCMP normally, and they don't have band constables. So we were asked to go up there and just be present in the community, just to make everybody feel more comfortable. It was just lucky that we were in the right place at the right time.
So you ended up in York Landing rather than Gillam, and it was fortuitous that you were there, obviously.
Yes, well, we had 4 of our members went to Fox Lake, and 3 of our members went to York Landing. York Landing is harder to get to, and that's why we had more people in Fox Lake. But yeah, things definitely shifted once we heard the report at 4:15.
All right, tell us what you saw then at 4:15. Your members, what they saw, and what happened after that. So
the York Landing First Nation had let our people have a truck to use to do their patrols because it's such a large, area to cover. They were doing the circuit, I guess, and they were near the garbage dump, and that's when they came across 2 men that seemed to be foraging for food in the dump. And basically, after that was on. It was on. They called RCMP, let them know what they'd seen, and the village went into lockdown, and everything's been kind of going haywire ever since.
And can you tell us what they saw exactly? Were the 2 men wearing the clothing that they were allegedly wearing? And can you describe what they saw exactly?
Well, as it was reported to me, they saw 2 men, Caucasians, tall, thin. One of them was wearing the green fatigue-style clothing that was reported in the Post. And so, yeah, that was a pretty good indicator that these are the guys that were being sought after. And so they just reported it right away to RCMP to get things moving.
And the 2 guys just took off?
Yeah, when they saw that they had been seen, they bolted across the road towards the lagoon and then into a tree line and disappeared.
All right. Now, your volunteers are acting as ambassadors in the area. What are you hearing from residents about what's going on?
Well, again, the village is in lockdown, so there's not a lot going on in the village currently. But they're on high alert. Everybody's kind of nervous and a little bit afraid that these guys could be, still lingering around. So it's a nerve-wracking situation to be in, and I just hope that this comes to a peaceful resolution very shortly.
And that's the residents. How about for you and the volunteers? It must be very, very stressful for them.
Well, it is, and these people have work and things to get back to. And yesterday, when all this started happening, a plane came to get them out of York Landing, and they refused to get on the plane. And there was a group that was in Fox Lake, traveled to Gillam to catch the same plane to come back to Winnipeg. And instead of coming back to Winnipeg, they had the plane turn around and take them all to York Landing. So now both groups are there. So we have 7 members in York Landing currently.
And what are your members going to be doing next?
Well, they're doing shifts. So part of the group is sleeping, the other half is working. I got my last report from them at 6:30 this morning, and one before that was at 3:30 this morning. So it's ongoing, and everybody's just working really hard to try to have this come to a peaceful resolution.
Obviously, not getting much sleep yourself.
No, not a lot.
Well, listen, as you say, hopefully this does end peacefully, and I hope for your sake as well as the residents that it ends soon. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
In Winnipeg, James Fayville, he is the executive director of the Bear Clan Patrol.